Section 24. Don't become a statistic. Fair housing practice. In the market introduction, every violation starts small. As we reach this final section, everything we've learned comes together in one powerful message: don't become a statistic. Every year, real estate professionals across the country face fair housing complaints, lawsuits, and disciplinary action. And here's the truth: most of them never thought they were doing anything wrong. In 2026, enforcement is stronger, testing is more common, and even unintentional actions can lead to violations. This section is designed to bring awareness to real-life mistakes so you never find yourself on the wrong side of a complaint. The foundation of fair housing law. The Fair Housing Act clearly states, "It is the policy of the United States to provide, within constitutional limitations, for fair housing throughout the United States." This means that every transaction, every showing, every conversation, every advertisement must be conducted without discrimination. The law prohibits discrimination based on protected classes, including race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, and disability. Additionally, it applies to all real estate-related transactions, including sales, rentals, financing, and brokerage services. Understanding disability, handicap. Under the law, one of the most common areas of violation involves disability. The Fair Housing Act defines a handicap as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, a record of such impairment, or being regarded as having such an impairment. However, this protection does not extend to individuals currently using illegal controlled substances. There is also an important exception. Housing providers are not required to accept a tenant if that individual poses a direct threat to the health and safety of others, or could cause substantial property damage. This is where understanding the law becomes critical. You must balance protection with legitimate safety concerns. Real-life violations, where agents go wrong. Let's walk through real-world examples of violations that happen every day in the industry. Refusing to sell or rent a property, or discouraging a buyer based on their protected class, is one of the most direct violations. Even a seemingly helpful comment about space or neighborhood amenities can be interpreted as discrimination. Using different terms in contracts, such as requiring a higher deposit or stricter conditions, based on a person's background is another violation. Even suggesting that a buyer may need to prove themselves more because of where they are from crosses the line. Blockbusting continues to be a major issue. Creating fear about demographic changes in a neighborhood to influence a seller's decision is illegal and unethical. Steering is another common violation. Limiting a buyer's options based on assumptions about where they would fit in perpetuates segregation and violates fair housing laws. Providing false information about property availability, whether based on the owner's preferences or your own assumptions, is also a violation. Discrimination in lending guidance is another risk. Suggesting different financing options based on a client's protected class can lead to serious consequences. Even appraisals can create liability if they are influenced by protected class considerations rather than objective market data. Finally, relying on outdated or illegal covenants to restrict who can buy or rent a property is strictly prohibited. Each of these examples reinforces one idea: intent does not matter as much as impact. The power of don't say. Language matters. Many fair housing violations come from what agents say in everyday conversations. Statements about families, neighborhoods, cultural groups, or financial assumptions can all create liability, even if they are made casually or with good intentions. This is why professional communication must always be neutral, fact-based, free of assumptions. In 2026, every conversation should be treated as if it could be reviewed in a legal setting, because it might be. Testing. You are being watched. One of the most important realities of fair housing enforcement is testing. Government agencies and private organizations send individuals, known as testers, to pose as buyers or renters. Their goal is to identify discriminatory behavior. What many agents don't realize is that you may already have been tested without knowing it. The evidence gathered through testing is fully admissible in court and is often used in enforcement actions. Unintentional discrimination is still a violation. One of the most surprising aspects of fair housing law is that you do not have to intend to discriminate to be found in violation. Courts have consistently ruled that if there is a discriminatory effect, that alone can be enough. This means your policies, practices, or even casual comments can create liability, even if your intentions were good. How to protect yourself and your career. The best way to avoid becoming a statistic is to follow a few key principles. Treat every client equally. Base all decisions on objective criteria. Avoid assumptions about protected classes. Follow consistent policies and procedures. Document your actions. When in doubt, slow down and seek guidance. The final takeaway: professionalism is protection. This course has covered laws, enforcement, ethics, and real-world scenarios, but the final takeaway is simple. Professionalism protects you. When you act with integrity, follow the law, and treat all clients fairly, you dramatically reduce your risk. In 2026, the most successful agents are not just knowledgeable, they are careful, consistent, and committed to doing things the right way. Don't become a statistic. Be the professional others look to as the standard. Online discussion question. 1. Why can an agent be found in violation even without intent? Answer: because fair housing violations can be based on discriminatory effect, not just intent. Question 2. What is blockbusting? Answer: encouraging property owners to sell by creating fear about protected classes moving into the area. Question 3. What is the safest way to communicate with clients? Answer: use neutral, fact-based language and avoid assumptions about protected classes.